All right, guys, welcome back to the Bull Street Podcast. This is Dylan. This is Kyle. We're the founders of the Bull Street app, which is officially launching this summer 2026. We did a podcast the other day where Kyle interviewed me, and now I am going to be interviewing Kyle. So we're going to jump right into it. I got a list of questions for you. Some questions about the crypto market, some questions about the app that is officially launching, Bull Street. I'm very excited to hear your opinions on this. So we're going to kick it right off the bat, just jumping right into it. 2026 price predictions, Bitcoin. And keep in mind, this is not advice.
Yeah.
This is
based off my opinion, my experience in the market. So I could answer that two ways. It depends. We got a lot going on in the world right now. We got the war with Iran. We're waiting for clarity within the markets. Obviously, the market sentiment is pretty bearish right now. We've made a slight recovery the past week or two, but are we saying best case scenario? We're back in a bull run. Is the war still going on?
Let's say moderate.
Moderate?
Moderate.
The war's still going?
Just say everything that's still happening right now, just based on the remainder of 2026. Just say everything kind of continues a little bit with the war, but no major announcements, just how it is right now. And, it's kind of a tough question depending on, the timing of it right now, because of course we're in May, the beginning of May. Clarity Act might be signed this month. So let's just say that Clarity Act is signed and, the war kind of simmers down a little bit.
Okay, so it's a tough one. So I'm going to say if the war is still going on, that is the main factor. It's obviously terrible for the economy. It's bad for the markets overall. The prices of oil and everything. Bitcoin is around 80K right now?
80,000.
80,000. So if the war is still going on, I'm expecting us to chop around up until, that's the main catalyst is the war. So I'd say we're either going to be chopping between that 70, 80 range. If the war escalates, I think we can go as low as 50K for Bitcoin. But I will say if the war ends, we get the Clarity Act signed and we get back the next bull run, I think we're going to see a $200,000 Bitcoin. So I'll say it's a wide range, but I'll say worst case scenario, 50K. Best case, we could see a $200,000 Bitcoin. XRP, worst case scenario, I think we could see XRP fall back under $1 around the 80, 90 cent range. Next bull run, I think we could see a $5 XRP. There's a lot that goes into XRP. It's not your regular crypto, right? XRP has real utility behind it. We're obviously banking on XRP replacing or upgrading the SWIFT banking system. That's not something I expect to happen anytime soon. But if we get that Clarity Act signed, XRP ETFs, I'm still waiting on that BlackRock XRP ETF, which in my opinion, I believe will happen. I think best case scenario, we could see a $5 XRP next bull run.
Okay, for sure. So we're looking at, potential $5 XRP, $200,000 Bitcoin based on bull run and everything. What about Ethereum? I know that you kind of have some mixed opinions on Ethereum, but right now Ethereum currently trading at almost 2,400 yet again. Realistic 2026. Where do you kind of see it at by the end of the year?
So me personally, I'm not a fan of Ethereum. That's just me personally. I know a lot of institutions and big whales love Ethereum. It's one of the OGs of the crypto space. Worst case scenario, I think we could see something similar to what last April we fell down to 1,200, 1,300.
Yep.
I think we could pull back to those ranges if the war escalates. Best case scenario, as much as I don't like Ethereum, I do think Ethereum has potential in the long run to be a $10,000 coin. I don't think that's going to happen soon. I'll say anywhere between $3,500 and $4,000 Ethereum next bull run.
For sure. What about Solana?
Solana is a weird one because Solana has a lot of mixed opinions. There's people that either hate Solana or they absolutely love it. Me personally, I hold Solana. I like Solana. It has real utility behind it. The speed, the efficiency, the low-cost transactions, I think there will always be a demand for Solana because I think meme coins are always going to be around. So worst case scenario, the war escalates. I think we're going to see around a $50 Solana. Best case scenario, I think Solana can reach anywhere between $400 and $500 next bull run.
For sure, and I know you're a big fan on Hyperliquid. What do you think about Hype this year?
Not a lot of people talk about Hyperliquid, especially the space we're in. We talk about XRP a lot. People talk about, most of the ISO coins, they'll talk about XRP, XLM, each bar, XDC, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Hyperliquid's an interesting one. If you take a look right now at the rest of the market, everything's obviously been trending down the past 6 months, 7 months, ever since that October crash. Everything's kind of been in the red. Hyperliquid's been the only coin that has, I gotta look, it's up like 40% the past few months. Hyperliquid doesn't follow the market directly. Everything kind of follows Bitcoin. The same with the stock market. Everything kind of follows the S&P 100 and the NASDAQ. But Hyperliquid's its own kind of thing. Obviously, times of war right now, right? The actual platform Hyperliquid, where people are trading on there's a demand for oil right now. You could trade oil directly on the Hyperliquid platform. So there's always going to be a demand for Hyperliquid itself and the platform itself. They're constantly doing buybacks from what they earn on their fees on the Hyperliquid platform back into Hype itself. I think a lot of people should do their research on Hyperliquid. I think Hyperliquid personally, this is just my opinion, I think Hyperliquid is going to have similar numbers to Solana last bull run. I think Hyperliquid will be a $300 plus coin.
I could definitely see that for sure, to be honest, because like you were saying too, like Hyperliquid kind of trades sometimes against the market. Not necessarily against it, but it doesn't necessarily follow Bitcoin. I guess it kind of already
it's kind of a hedge against the rest of the market. I think that, again, not a lot of people talk about it. I've only been holding it now for a few months, so I'm green overall up on it. I think I got in around like $25 cost average on Hyperliquid, so I'm holding that long term.
For sure. So we'll see if those predictions are in that range, but like he was saying too, and like I was saying, it really depends on global events along with this Clarity Act. So the timing of everything for predictions really depends on, are we going to see this Clarity Act and what's going on with the situation with the United States, Iran, Israel. So we'll see what happens in a couple months. But another kind of question is, what is like the biggest mistake that beginners make in crypto? People just come into crypto. What is like that beginner mistake that majority of people make?
All right, so there's a few things here. A lot of people, when they first get into crypto, they're obviously, cautious about it. It's extremely volatile, and they'll see success stories online where people are changing their lives overnight. A lot of people first came into crypto with the Trump coin. I think, the Trump coin made over 200 millionaires overnight.
I think
more than that.
Millionaires, yeah.
Yeah, about 500 millionaires overnight. So people are expecting, they're going to put $100 into a coin and their life's going to be changed overnight. You're essentially gambling at that point. Obviously anything's a gamble in life, whether you're investing in crypto or stocks, it doesn't matter. But people need to actually do their research onto why they're holding a coin. XRP, for example, XRP is notoriously known for people saying, XRP is going to reach $10,000 one day. It's going to take over the SWIFT banking system. And they don't actually know what XRP is. They just see other people talking about it, and, they're putting money into it that maybe they can't afford to lose. Everyone's in different financial situations, and they're kind of relying on that to be their way out, which, me and Dylan both believe in XRP. We think it's going to do amazing things and change lives in the future. But a lot of people become impatient, especially now during a bear market. A lot of these people probably bought into XRP $2.50, $3, $3.60, which we reached last bull run. And, they're down 30, 40, 50% right now. And they panic sell, and they sell for a loss. And then those are the kinds of people that once we go back into a bull run, they'll buy it again when they could have just done their research and see what XRP is, the utility behind it, do research on the actual company, Ripple themselves, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, what they're trying to accomplish, and they wouldn't be scared right now. They wouldn't have to worry because they say, listen, I took the time to do the research. I know the potential this coin has. I'm going to dollar cost average on the way down and just be patient, and obviously it's money fluctuating on a screen. It's scary to watch. When I first got into crypto and trading as a whole, there's times I lost money, and you have to really put those emotions aside and actually do your research on what you're holding and realize that everything, the economy, stocks, crypto, it's all based on cycles. We're in a time right now where The dollar is crashing. The dollar's not looking good. We're literally on the brink of World War III with everything going on with Iran right now. So of course the market's going to be down. It doesn't mean that XRP is a bad coin or Bitcoin's a bad coin or Ethereum, whatever. That's just the nature of the beast right now. And it's really important, like I said, just to do your research and not rely on a hope and a dream that crypto can change your life overnight.
It's a pretty good take. So like if you were a beginner right now, based on the knowledge that you have years later, what would be the best action steps for the people watching at home? Like if there's a beginner watching this, like what should they do in order to make sure they don't make certain mistakes?
All right. So obviously if you're watching this, maybe you're a beginner, either you follow Dylan on his other socials or me or any other crypto influencer, right? We're just talking about what we're doing, right? We're not telling you what to do. This is our opinion. We're in crypto because we love it. We talk about XRP because we genuinely believe in it. So it's good to gain knowledge from other people in the space and see what their opinions are. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to do your own research. Just because I like XRP, if you do your research on it and you don't like XRP, that's fine, don't buy it. Me, I'm not a personal fan of Bitcoin. I don't hold any Bitcoin, but if you do your research on Bitcoin and you say, all right, this is something I want to put my money in, Bitcoin's a store of value. It's essentially, digital gold, as people say. If you do your research and you want to put your money in Bitcoin, put your money in Bitcoin. And another thing too, if you buy something and it doesn't make you a millionaire overnight, that doesn't mean you just sell it and, just because you're down 10, 20, 30%. You made the decision to buy it. Hopefully you did your research and you had conviction behind it. So if you're down right now, why would you sell? If you actually bought something, hopefully you did your research with it. And you have to understand that it's, like I said, that it's cycles. It's markets repeat themselves, so doing your research and having conviction is all you need. And then you just have to have patience. You have to be stoic and you got to put your emotions aside and look at the charts. Dylan says it all the time. When in doubt, zoom out. Go back in time. When Bitcoin was first at $1 or under $1, people never thought it could reach $10. Then when it reached $10, people never thought it could reach $100, $1,000, $10,000, $50,000. Then we reached 126,000 this past bull run.
26, yep.
And now that we're back down to, people think it's over. People think crypto's done. People think crypto's dead. It's never going to recover. This happens every single cycle.
And meanwhile, the crazy part about that is that just years ago, the all-time high was $69,000. We're above previous all-time high levels. Like we're in a whole entire new echelon of crypto right now, whole entire new phase of crypto. XRP was, trading anywhere between 20 cents to 40 cents. 50 cents was considered high years ago. Now at $1.40, everyone's like, oh, XRP's so low, Bitcoin's so low. They're not realizing how high everything is. And then, we go higher, we dip. We go higher, we dip. But consistently, as time goes, there's higher lows being made on the macro. But you made a really good point too, is like for long-term investing, like if you have conviction in something, why sell, right? But there comes the difference between that I talk about with my VIP clients, is where we go over the difference between investing and trading, right? In trading, of course, you need stop losses, you need certain risk management, and if you have to sell, you got to sell because you're in a leverage position. It's a lot more risky than just typical investing. But if you're spot investing for the long term and you have conviction in something, then sometimes it's better, like you were saying, when in doubt, zoom out. Next question, I do want to kind of touch up on our app. We'll get more back into current crypto events and everything, but what are some key components you would want inside a crypto app?
So the vision we have with Bull Street is we want it to be an all-in-one hub for everything. There's different people. There's people that are in crypto for different reasons. There's people that are just in crypto for your big macro coins, like we talked about, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, etc. And then there's also a whole nother side of crypto, people that are in the trenches, people trading meme coins. And then there's people that want to be able to get all of their news and updates all in one place, right? You have to go to multiple different apps or websites or platforms to get all of that for news, for price updates, for meme coins. So it's kind of all over the place. What we're building with Bull Street is we want it to be the only app and platform you'll need for all of those.
For sure. So I think that's exactly what we're building with Bull Street. We're making it like a all-in-one platform as well. Now, what does the Bull Street app our app do differently than the competition?
A few different things. So the first thing is we are integrating TradingView charts. We want to have the most high-end, top-quality chart analysis, right? There's other platforms where they're good platforms, but if you want, if you want to look at the prices of coins, etc., but if you actually want to do your own chart analysis and break stuff down, it's kind of sloppy, it's kind of hard to navigate, so that's something we're going to be implementing. The second one, for the people that are in the trenches trading meme coins, a lot of times there will be trending coins that, are honeypots essentially, or going to be rug pulls. We're going to implement a system where teams that can actually verify and boost their coins, but that's something we're going to be looking at, our team's going to be looking at, and making sure, is this a good coin? Is this team legit, right? We're not just going to essentially have these coins verified that we think could be a risk to people. Obviously, meme coins as a whole are a risk. We are never going to promise financial outcomes. That's anything with crypto. But we're going to use our judgment based off of what we see in our experience to be able to have those coins visible. And the third one, right, if you only care about XRP, if you only care about Bitcoin, and you only want to see news regarding those specific coins, that's all you're going to see, right? So what I mentioned before, where you have to go to different websites or platforms if you want to get regular crypto news. If you just want to see XRP news, there's multiple accounts on multiple platforms you're going to have to filter out that's just tailored to XRP. But we're actually going to have a watch list, essentially. Say you put XRP, Bitcoin, Hyperliquid, Solana. If you have those 4 coins set, that's all you're going to see news on, right? It's not just going to be price updates or XRP's up 10% today, Bitcoin's down 3% today. Any news that comes out, anything with Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, anything with those coins specifically, you're going to get news updates and you won't have to go anywhere else.
We're definitely building a lot within the app. We feel like you were saying before, we do want to make it the all-in-one platform and to make it your app instead of just a crypto app. We want you to actually be in control of absolutely everything on the app, which is going to be super, super cool. Just to touch up on that too, just a quick question for you. Where do you see the Bull Street app by, let's say, the year 2030, 4 years from today?
So by 2030, we're expecting Bull Street to not only be a crypto app, but the crypto app. Like I said, we want it to be an all-in-one hub for everything, your main coins, meme coins, and we actually want to implement a social media platform onto it. A lot of other big social medias and platforms, I feel like crypto is kind of suppressed. It's just the reputation crypto has, and there's a lot of up and coming creators or influencers or people that just want to share their perspective on the market, and they can't necessarily do that because crypto is such a sensitive topic for a lot of people and a lot of platforms. So that's something we want to implement in the future, where people have the ability to grow their own personal brands or their own projects or just connect with other people. And that's something, in my experience too, it's kind of hard sometimes to really see other people in the space, and especially a lot of other small creators that are trying to come up. We want to give them the ability to voice their opinion, share their thoughts and opinions, and spread their knowledge with other people in the space.
100%. I think that's like a big topic too, is like really becoming the crypto app. Like, both of us have one goal in mind, and that's to build the crypto app. And the goal from day one, when we first started the idea, is going to be that same goal in the year 2030. Like, we want to build the crypto app, and we're going to be building every single day to accomplish that goal one day. Now, going back to crypto for a moment, do you think that we're going to see the Clarity Act? Because, President Trump was saying the other day, like, get the Clarity Act on my desk, I'll sign it. But of course, there's a process of that. It's got to go to the House of Representatives, then it's got to go to the Senate, and then it goes to the president's desk. He said he's ready to sign it. Right now it's, what was it, May 5th at the time we're recording this. By the time this is posted, it's going to be May 6th. Do you think we could see this month, next month? Where do you kind of see that time frame of when the Clarity Act can officially be signed?
Yeah, so obviously this has been something we've been waiting on for a while now, ever since the Genius Act was passed.
Yeah.
I think the latest, my personal opinion, like you said, it really depends on how fast it gets to the president's desk, and it's an entire process. But my prediction, I would say before the summer ends, so I would say before September, I'd say somewhere between July and August, I'd be expecting it to officially be signed by President Trump.
For sure. It's the same time our app's coming out. Middle of the summer. So hopefully we'll see who's going to launch first. Are we going to launch our app before the Clarity Act, or is the Clarity Act going to come before Bull Street? We'll see what happens. But
will the Clarity Act be signed before GTA 6?
I think that the Clarity Act will be signed before GTA 6.
All right, you heard it there from Mr. Dill.
Speaking of GTA 6, I know Luke Belmar, if you guys know Luke Belmar, he's spoken on GTA 6. Aiden Ross has spoken on GTA 6, potentially involving cryptocurrency. What kind of crypto would you like to see inside GTA 6? Like, are you going to be playing GTA 6 and trying to earn crypto? Like, is that a thing that you plan on doing one day?
Yeah, I mean, if they actually implement crypto and there's a way to monetize it, I think absolutely,
Like, would you work at, like, Subway in the game, or would you work at, like, a grocery store to earn some crypto?
I don't know if I'd be working at Subway in GTA. That seems a little bit boring, but...
Well, what would you do? Like, how are you going to get your bags up in crypto? Are you going to work at Subway? Like, are you going to work at Subway?
You know what? If it's paying well inside the game, why not? I'll put the fries in the bag and flip it.
There's no fries in Subway.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like,
no, Subway is sandwiches.
All right, I'll slap turkey on that roll and...
But what if the customer doesn't like turkey? What if Ethereum isn't accepted as a form of payment for turkey?
I don't think they should implement Ethereum. If they were going to implement any coins, I think it would have to be coins that are fast, low fees, fast transactions. So obviously XRP is going to come to mind. Solana, I could very easily see Solana. Actually, as much as I'd want to see it be XRP, I think Solana would probably be the front runner, because Solana is already known for, kind of that degen like space, and I think that's kind of the route GTA would go. They got casinos and stuff in GTA and gambling, etc. So I think Solana could be implemented. We could see XRP. XLM, I think, would be a good choice. I would say those three. But I definitely, just with how long GTA is taking and the not millions but billions of dollars that that game's going to bring in, I think they'd be silly not to do something where they can implement crypto into it. That'll obviously benefit the company Rockstar.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's going to be really cool. But even going back to like the real world, we saw today there was a partnership announcement at the Solana Accelerate event out in Miami. There's a coffee shop in Miami that has just partnered up with Solana. They're accepting Solana as a form of payment for coffee. And that same exact coffee shop has partnered up with the basketball team Miami Heat, and they partnered up with the baseball team, the Miami Marlins, a 3-year deal to basically have to be the official coffee shop of both of those professional sports teams on chain, on Solana. So you can walk into the coffee shop, do tap to pay with a QR code paying Solana for your coffee in Miami, and to the Miami Heat's probably like one of the most popular NBA teams out there. They're not in the playoffs anymore, but everyone knows the Miami Heat. Miami Marlins, on the other hand, not the most well-known team, but still a massive thing right there where, crypto is starting to really get that mainstream adoption right there. So super, super excited to see that. But another question, going back to the Bull Street app really quick, what is like one feature inside our app? I know that, it's obviously not public yet, but obviously we've seen the app before anyone else. What is one feature inside the Bull Street app that you think that people will love immediately? I mean, there's a lot to pick from, but if you had to pick one thing.
So like Dill said, there is a bunch of stuff we're excited to bring you guys with Bull Street, but my personal favorite thing we're building so far is, like I mentioned before, the personal watch list you're going to have. Obviously any exchange or platform, you can build your own personal watch list, but we want to make it custom to the user, right? We want you to be able to have your specific price targets where you're looking at certain things, and the news, I think, and just in general, right? If you only want XRP news, that's something you're going to have. So if something bullish comes out about XRP, if you're looking to, trade XRP, if something bullish comes out, you'll be able to hop on that and trade it. If something bearish comes out, if you want to short it, or if you want to buy more, right? If something huge comes out with XRP, let's say XRP gets that BlackRock ETF, you're probably going to want to buy XRP or long XRP, and like I said, on the flip side, if something bearish comes out, with Bitcoin, let's say it comes out that Satoshi has awakened from his coma the past 20 years and his wallet's active, that's something that's probably bearish. People will get scared. Is Satoshi going to sell his Bitcoin? You'd probably want to short Bitcoin at that point. We want it to be the fastest hub, not only for price updates and chart analysis, but to get the news before the market reacts.
Now, moving forward, back to crypto a little bit, we talked about price predictions, right? We talked about potential clarity act. We talked about everything going on in the world right now. I think right now, the main factor is that people have to start breaking down utility aspects and, what's going to be utilized the most when it comes down to tokenization in the future, right? Because it's pretty obvious now that crypto is the future. Now, I want to ask you, what are your top 3 tokens when it comes down to utility?
I mean, number one's obvious. I don't even have to say it. It's XRP. It's the 3 to 5 second transaction time. It's the ability of the XRP ledger able to handle not millions, billions, trillions, but quadrillions of dollars worth of money. That's obviously going to be key in taking over the SWIFT banking system. XRP is a clear number 1. Number 2 in terms of utility is going to be XRP's little brother, XLM. A lot of people associate the two. They're both designed for cross-border payments, the low transactions, the speed, the efficiency. XLM is going to be more catered to the everyday person. When you look at your PayPals, your Venmo, your Cash App, Zelle, that's kind of where I think XLM is going to thrive. They already have a partnership with PayPal, the PayPal stablecoin. I think there's going to be extreme demand and adoption for XLM. And number 3, I'm going to have to go with Solana. I think Solana is kind of they're not essentially trying to accomplish the same thing, but I think it's I'll say JV version or Walmart version of XRP. I think Solana is very similar with how fast it is, how low the transaction times are, how low the fees are. I think, and there's always going to be a demand for Solana, like I said, with meme coins and just the convenience of it. So that's my top 3, XRP, XLM, and Solana.
For sure. And then just going back to the Bull Street app, we're kind of going back and forth between, cryptocurrency, today's date, and then also with our app right now. What are the benefits that crypto developers will get from the Bull Street app?
So with the crypto developers, right, there are teams out there that are actually looking to launch legit projects or, actual fun, real meme coins that aren't looking to rug pull people or honeypots essentially. And a lot of times it's going to be difficult for you to have that presence, right? If you're not really big on social media or if you don't know any top tier KOLs essentially, right? Because that's what most of meme coins are. It's KOLs and creators pushing the meme coin. We want to be able to give you that visibility if you're really building something legit, to be able to send it to our team if you want to be able to get it verified, or just the boost factor, right? If you don't want to go the route of other people pushing your coin, you want to push it yourself, that's absolutely fine. You're going to have the ability to boost your tokens to increase visibility and essentially get eyes on your project, and people will be able to get exposure to it very easily.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really cool feature as well, especially once we officially come out with the app, we'll have top 500 market cap coins for, the centralized market. Of course, some of those coins are decentralized, but, the CEX version, right? Top 500 market cap, bigger cap coins. Then the DEX section is really going to be catered towards innovation, right? Both of us, we want to innovate and really focus on, getting new people into crypto, but also new people that want to start businesses out of crypto and innovate within the crypto world. And we think that Bull Street is truly going to become a hub for that. We eventually even want to, have a launch pad on there where people can launch their own projects within the Bull Street app. But the version 1, we're going to see the Bull Street app is going to have token verification opportunities, token boosting opportunities. There's just going to be so many different opportunities. We're going to have so many different partnerships with other launchpad companies that can be able to really maximize for the developers along with the regular users as well. So we want to be able to meet that bridge for both parties there. So we're super, super excited to bring that. But cool question for you. Brad Garlinghouse is in Miami today. If you were walking down the street in Miami and you saw Brad, what would you do?
I could go the obvious answer and get his autograph and tell him how much I love him, but I'd probably genuinely ask him if he's going to be running for president of the United States in 2028.
That would be the second time you asked him that. You actually did ask him that in New York at the XRP community night. You asked him if he was running for president.
Yeah, I met Brad Garlinghouse at the XRP event in New York City. It was awesome. I only got to talk to him for a minute because he was surrounded by security, which everyone was trying to get to him. I know.
I couldn't get to him. The security pushed me.
I was able to take a picture with him. I got it on my fridge at my house. But yeah, I asked him if he was going to run for president in 2028, and he kind of just looked at me like I had 10 heads, and walked away. It was kind of upsetting, but maybe he's just trying to be humble. You know, he doesn't want to tell everyone his plans.
Right?
Yeah. So, you know, once XRP takes over the SWIFT banking system, he would have accomplished his mission with XRP. I think he'll fully move into taking office into the United States and fully saving this country.
For sure.
He just has to finish his mission with XRP and Ripple first.
Sure.
And I think he'll fully hand the keys down to, you know, Monica Long, and she'll fully be in charge. And I think he'll run for president and probably have David Schwartz as his vice president.
Well, thinking and speaking on David Schwartz, another question just popped into my mind. Do you think that David Schwartz is Satoshi Nakamoto? Do you think that there's a possibility that he is the creator of Bitcoin?
No.
No.
We all know who it is.
Well, who is it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Well, tell them.
I'll put it this way, all right? Satoshi Nakamoto is not some Japanese guy in a cave in the mountains that no one's heard from since 2009.
Okay, so who is it?
I mean, I think Dylan's outfit should tell you my answer, what he's wearing.
What, the quarter zip?
The quarter zip. That's all I'll say. I won't say his name, just whoever's notoriously known for wearing a quarter zip. That's who I think Satoshi is, I'm sure.
Well, I don't have my own island.
Do you?
No, not yet.
He's already halfway there with the quarter zip. The quarter zip man from Palm Beach that has his own island.
It's Palm Beach Pete. Is he the founder of Bitcoin?
His doppelganger.
Oh, his doppelganger,
Yeah.
really? Speaking of Palm Beach Pete, I saw that I don't know if this was a real account or fake account, someone could try to fact check this, but someone was speaking on X that Palm Beach Pete wants to enter the crypto world. Do you think that's the best idea for Palm Beach Pete to do that? Or is that kind of reverse psychology? Because that could bring down to the previous question, you know, is that just part of the game?
You know, I don't know what it is with this Palm Beach Pete guy. I'm getting tired of seeing him on the internet. I think he's an industry plant.
Really?
I think if he gets into crypto, it wouldn't be good for crypto. You know, we've already seen countless celebrities that have gotten into crypto and it hasn't gone well whatsoever, you know.
So would you say that Palm Beach Pete is a celebrity?
I don't know what he is. I don't know what that guy is, but, you know, we've obviously seen a bunch of celebrities get into crypto and launch their own coins. You know, Kanye West recently, the Hawk Tuah girl. As of late, there's countless others, but those are the two off the top of my head. So I'm sure Palm Beach Pete would come in and launch his own coin, and the New York City Mayor Adams coin.
You know what? I would love to have those three people on our podcast. Palm Beach Pete, I'd love to have him sitting right here, right where Jay Claver sat. I would love to have the Hawk Tuah girl here. I would love to have New York City Mayor Adams here. There's a list of people that I would love to have on this very podcast. Kanye West, I mean, we'd have to have, you know, Bull Street's going to have to really take over. We're going to have a couple of years of growth first in order to get Kanye West in our office. But there's a lot of big names that we do want to get here. We could definitely get Palm Beach Pete and the Hawk Tuah girl. Hey, Palm Beach Pete. We would love to have you on our podcast, on the Bull Street podcast. And also, Haley Welch, Hawk Tuah, we would love to have you on our podcast. Last question here that we're going to jump into is, you know, Bull Street, our app. You know, we prioritize decentralization because both of us in crypto, we want to, you know, really focus on decentralization, right? And there's millions of people out there that want to feel safe whenever they're using a crypto platform, especially a new crypto platform. So, you know, what would you say are some key factors of the decentralization on our platform itself? You know, it could be from the login experience. It could be from your watch list. It could be from, you know, catered news. It could be from, you know, we don't have a specific trading route right now, or we're not managing funds, or, you know, what are some things that you would say that you know, are key factors for Bull Street really sticking to decentralization?
So the first thing I would say is based off my experience with, you know, social media or just platforms as a whole. I think the number one thing is transparency and a top-end support team, right? If you're having any issues with, you know, your account or just anything or any questions about it, we are having a top-notch support team. Number two, you're going to be in control of everything on the app, right? Your watch list, what you want to see. If there are certain projects or coins or news you don't want to see, you're not going to have to see that, right? Every time you open Bull Street, it should be for one specific reason, and that's to tailor to your needs, your desires, your wants, and what you need out of crypto in general.
For sure. Well, it was a pleasure to have you, Crypto Kylo.
Thank you, Mr. Dill.
We cannot wait to launch the Bull Street app, guys. We're super, super excited for this. This is our second podcast ever. We want to have a guest on, okay? He interviewed me, I interviewed him. First 2 videos out on the channel. Super, super excited for that. But we want to start having on some guests. So if you guys have any recommendations, let us know in the comments, and we'll try our best to get them on.